Hello, I am Sean Sands from Gamerswithjobs.com and the Gamers with Jobs conference call, back for some more Kerbal Space Program. As you can see, I already have a ship ready to go. I think we're going to try and go to Eve. Now, we are not going to try and go to Eve with somebody perishable or that we have to try and get back. Our mission here is to actually try and land a probe on Eve, do some research, and send it back. Don't think I have. Did I make a decision? Is there a mission for that? Don't remember. Explore Eve. Yeah, okay. Well, we probably aren't going to do all this stuff. That sounds like a lot of work, unless we just have a ton of extra Delta V laying around, which I doubt. Transmitter recover. Land on Eve. Yeah. So we'll get some money for that. Achieve orbit around Eve. We should do that. I don't know about these other ones. We'll see when we get there. If they're nice and easy, we will consider doing them. Otherwise, yeah, so we have a fairing up here. Underneath the fairing, we have a probe with some solar panels and a bunch of barometers on it, battery. We have a Science Junior. We have some parachutes. Those are the right parachutes, right? Those are the parachutes I want. Yeah, parachutes. We have a... Boy, why did I forget this last time? The little container here with our science tubes, whatever you call them. What are those called? Mystery goo containers. Inside them, we have some thermometers on the outside. We have an advanced inline stabilizer. We have our fairing system. And then we have a nice big, meaty heat shield to hopefully help us out a little bit more, because we've learned our lesson once or twice on that front. And then our main stage is getting there. Got about 8,200 Delta V, which should be plenty, I think. Particularly since we're not trying to come back. We might have a lot of Delta V to spare. And we have moved our orbit into a position that should be favorable to this. So zoom in. Here's Kerbin. Here is Eve in relation to it. It's supposed to be a 54-ish degree angle. That probably is a little too much, but yeah, we'll make two. Because Eve is going faster, just like when we were trying to get back from Duna, we're going to have to kind of fling ourselves around the planet and head this way. Eve does have a little bit more weird I mean, it's not nice and on center as far as its orbital inclination. So we will almost certainly have to do some fiddling with that. But again, because we're not trying to come back, I'm not entirely concerned about that. All I really want to do is just make contact, do some aero braking, hopefully a little better than last time, and see if we can't plunge into the atmosphere. So we'll talk more about it on the way, but we have our staging all set up. And I think we will try and launch. I'll grab a sip of water. Delightful water. SAS, RCS on. Throttle to full. In 3, 2, 1. There we go. We're up and away with our Eve Explorer. I've never been to Eve before. I've always wanted to go to Eve. Like seriously, in the entire time I've had Kerbal Space Program, somehow I just kept sort of going back and forth to the moon and Minmus and occasionally to Duna and just kind of doing stuff in orbit. But I've never been to Eve or any of the other planets or moons out there. So we'll see how this goes. Got a pretty smooth launch here. Everything feels relatively under control. We're accelerating pretty hard, so I'm going to want to watch that speed. I would like to get an orbit around 100,000 meters. So that's just sort of the ballpark of what I'm aiming for initially. Nice and good. We're about to lose our first stage, and they're out. Okay, good. ApoApp's doing good. Up to 20,000 ApoApps. Lots of fuel in the tank. 7,000 Delta V total still to go. And this is a smooth launch so far. All good. I suppose at some point I will probably stop making you watch the launch, or fast forward through it or something. But I don't know. I always enjoy the launch. There's something fun about it to me. We're gonna throttle down a bit um, before we start getting some atmospheric effects, but it's all good so far. I don't know. Maybe some people like to watch the launch like me. I don't know. There's something just fun about it. I always enjoy it. And it's still a moment where, even if you've done it 100 or 1,000 times, something could go wrong. You never know. Something could go interesting, and there's an art form to getting the orbit, like to figuring out exactly when to start your turn and how to manage it. So I don't know. At some point, I'll probably make it not keep making a thing we watch, but for now, yeah, we're still doing launches, and we will kill it around 100,000. Can really turn it pretty hard here now. And cut engines. Still got 359 delta V in this stage. And we'll need it. We will need it. Set up our maneuver. About there. We're looking at another 1,000 or so. So we'll finish off this tank, start digging into the next one. But that all feels fine to me. I don't have any worries about that. Line up our point here, and we'll fast forward a bit. And about the 20-second mark, we'll burn. 2, 1, burn. Holding nicely. Stage out in 2, 1, out. Jettison. Good. Clean jettison. Haven't clipped off any of my engine bells yet, which I have been known to do. Okay, getting a little wobble there. We'll cut engines around 50, 40 or so. Yep, cut engines. And then we'll just kind of line it up here. Now we're just watching our apoaps and periaps. I don't care about this anymore. Nice soft burn. See how close we can get to sort of circular. It's not going to be great. Yep. Okay, that'll have to do. About 13,000 off. All right. So now to start figuring, and like last time, I'll get it started, but I won't make you watch everything. We know we want to be coming, the angle of ejection seems to be sort of coming around the backside of the planet right about here and then firing this way. So let's go ahead and set up a maneuver node. I'm thinking right about here. Why can't I click a maneuver node? I'd like to click a maneuver node. Why can't I do that? Chip, you're there? Good. All right. Can I not do maneuver nodes? Why can't I do maneuver nodes? Let's go back to the Space Center for a second, then come back and see if that helps. I mean, I know I did a maneuver node earlier. All right. Eve probe. There we go. Okay, that was weird. So where is Eve? Okay, I think we're going to go ahead and set up a maneuver node, and then we'll kind of zip out and make sure we're going in the right direction. So Kerbin's orbit. Yep, Kerbin's orbiting this way. We want to set Eve as our target. So we want to come off the back edge of the planet like this. And let's just fire it off this way. It's probably going to be more around like this. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, we have a moon encounter. That's going to mess things up, potentially. We might have to go around planet once or twice. Maybe not. Do we have any kind of encounter coming up? Maybe we try and match its orbit a little bit. We're minus 2.2. I'd like to get some sort of indication that we're pointing the right way. Anything. Okay. Oh, it's over here. All right. Nope. Okay. Got something there. 6 billion miles off, basically. .4 billion miles. .5, 4.4. Okay, good. Getting something here. Come on, dial in. How good? We're not going to be able to... I mean, that's not a lot of burn so far. There's got to be something going on there. 3.1. We'll keep going as long as it lets us. All right, this is probably a less than ideal approach, but it is the one we're going to take a shot at, I think. And at least once we're out there around the sun, we'll see if we can't dial it in a bit. Actually put ourselves in a decent position to close the rest of the gap. So we have lots of fuel in this stage. We have lots of fuel in the next stage. I'm feeling gutsy. And like I said, we don't have plans to come home. So there's no chance we're going to crash into the planet, right? I mean, convince me we're not. Periaps is, I mean, it's inside the atmosphere. Okay, see how that impacts things. Let me not use the word impact there, actually. I kind of love this. Oh man, this is gonna be exciting. Kerbin Periaps is that's terrible. That's a terrible thing. Okay, nope. We're gonna have to turn the other way here because that's. Yeah, let's not do that if we can. Can we get back out of the atmosphere? Oh, crap. Well, that was pretty bad, right? It wasn't good, for sure. And also I hadn't saved. So I have, after, I mean, plummeting is the word, into Kerbin's atmosphere. I have relaunched here, plotted a new course. Now, it's not as close as I was getting earlier, but it has the added advantage of this new trajectory. It does not pass through the ground. Through the ground is the answer. So I feel like that's an improvement, a strong improvement on my previous design, and we will just do some adjustments once we're actually in intersolar space with our ship here. So, yeah, pretty good at Kerbal Space Program is what I'm saying. Let's dial that in a bit. Actually, can we just zip to the maneuver? Yeah, warp there. Fine. Got 1,000 meters per second burn, which won't even use up my full tank here, which is nice. Can't argue with that. And again, can't stress enough, does not go through the planet's core as a route to another stellar body, which I also feel like is a strong comment in its favor. And we burn. Yeah, that looks more reasonable. That looks like a smarter idea. Oh. So we'll try and figure it out as we get out into intersolar space, how to actually dial it in and get a genuine encounter, which we do not currently have. We merely sort of get in the ballpark of Eve, which isn't going to cut it. But bits at a time, right? One thing at a time. Now we know tiny little changes in delta V can be a big difference this far with distances of this size, but okay, let's go ahead and escape Kerbin and see where we're at. And we didn't crash into anything. Nice, good job. I feel like this is going much better already. All right, so the closest we have is 831,000. Let's warp into maybe over here somewhere to see if we can't make something happen with that. Eve's still behind us. And we're talking, a number, quite a few days till we find something. Okay, add maneuver. We are at 831. It seems like we're coming under Eve's orbit. So if we... is there an opportunity to move up? Yeah. That seems like it's helping. Right at 100,000 ought to be good. Okay. And we can go ahead and burn that, I think. We don't have to wait the 6 days. I mean, why not? Let's go ahead and we'll zoom a little closer. We'll get our trajectory lined up. Another 700. That's going to finish off this stage, but we'll still have roughly just under 3,000 left in the tank, which should be plenty to do some cool stuff. Okay. Is the RCS working? Or is it just... Yep, RCS is working. It's just a big, beefy ship, I guess. We're orbiting the sun at almost 10,000 meters per second. Love that the days are only 6 hours long. Or so. Or so it seems, roughly. Let me do one more. Warp a little closer. Why not? There we go. That'll be good. And burn. That's the button for it. All right, get ready to detach stage and detach. Release the fairing. And burn. 2, 1. Dial it in a little closer. 2, 1. Cut. Ooh, nice. Nice. And we're looking at a periapse. Okay, well, 7 million. We tried. We'll get closer and we'll close that gap a bit. Good. Let's do a quick science experiment. I mean, we're out here. We got tons of barometers. Do we get anything from doing a barometer check out here? Yeah, instrument reads 0. It's as if it were in a vacuum. Don't know why waste that. At some point, we'll be able to do that again. Yeah, there's no reason to waste interstellar science. Let's save it all for Kerbin. Kerbin. Nope, not Kerbin. The Eve. That's the place we're going in roughly 60 or 70 days. So we dial it in a bit. And what kind of orbit are we coming in on? We're coming in on... It's hard to tell. It's periapse of 7 million on sort of the backside of the planet. We're coming in a little over the top, but actually not that bad. Let's see if we did like a Eve periapse of I feel like that's, yeah, okay. Oh yeah, it's directly coming over the top, isn't it? There we go. Can we come in sort of the side a bit? There we go. That makes more sense. And accelerate a little bit. Bring it right into the top of the atmosphere. Cool. We'll go ahead and burn that. $51 meters per second. Excellent. Good, good, good. Beautiful purple Eve. Dialing it in. Nice, nice, nice. And cut engines. Oh, that is what they call an intercept. So I think we'll spin her around a bit. Pull that out a little bit. Just burn a little retrograde. Nah, it's more than I wanted. I want to get it right inside that atmosphere. So as I understand it, the atmosphere of Eve starts at just about 100,000. And cut that. Oop. Let's zoom into our Eve encounter. Yep. So the idea is to use aerobraking and potentially just go down into the atmosphere. I wouldn't mind achieving an orbit just so we get that what mission or whatever it is we were after complete. And now we will warp here. And we are now well and truly coming in towards Eve. So, do we see Eve? Eve. No, we don't see Eve. That must be it. That looks like a big thing in the distance. Sunward, yep. So we'll zoom into about here. And probably do a little bit of science. We got Gilly out here, which is a cool moon at some point I might like to visit. Do a quick save. No reason not to. Now, the thing about Eve is it's a big planet. It has a lot of... it's bigger than Kerbin. Has a lot of gravity. Has a thick, just gooey atmosphere. Making it far from easy to land on and take off from. But yay, this is my first time visiting Eve. I'm pretty excited. We are now high above Eve. You can kind of see it's... we'll do a couple of science around 150. So we will do a barometer check. In space near Eve, instrument reads 0. We will transmit that. We'll do a temperature scan near Eve. Collected and recorded temperature data from the environment. We'll open this and do a observe mystery unit. And yes, I know we're losing a lot. Goofy's right at home because that's only 30%. Well, maybe we'll wait for that one. Maybe that one we won't do. And yeah, so we'll just stop there. And we're coming in, so we want to be retrograde. And we'll have to keep an eye out for the atmospheric effects as we begin to hit the planet's atmosphere, starting real soon. Yay, all right, we have hit. We should have hit. Did we hit? Doesn't feel like we hit. Our periapse at 74. At what point, which point will burn if we're not seeing any atmospheric effects, so that we can get a... yeah, now we are in the atmosphere. Oh, and we are already warm. Okay. What did we lose? Man, that got hot fast. Good grief. Hopefully this can hold. Hopefully the ablator will hold. But we are coming in for a landing, I guess. Because hopefully we will, because right now we are not going to... I mean, that's our only chance of getting an orbit for sure. Hopefully it'll slow down enough. We are beginning to rise back up out of the atmosphere. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Make it... Ah! Man, this is a thick soup of a planet, isn't it? Come on. Give me an orbit. Give me an orbit. If we don't get an orbit soon, then we are going to have to, as we are wont to do from time to time, just flat out reload. And we will probably burn. Yeah, we're going to have... And... Great. Now we've learned some new lessons. Damn it. Ah. All right. So we are going to have to try and burn an orbit sooner than that. Because one, we're definitely going to lose our rocket. And two, no, it's mostly just the one, I guess, isn't it? Let's get it down to roughly 100,000. This time we will begin burning immediately at 100,000. Coming in towards Eve. Oh, thank you, quick load. Quick save, quick load. All right. Let's go ahead and burn for an orbit. Full burn. Periapse dropping a little bit. And we have established an orbit. Excellent. So now when this blows up, we are going to be okay. Don't think, does that count as an orbit? Nope. Doesn't technically count as, wow. It's just real bad. Doesn't count as an orbit because we are in the atmosphere. Orbit sort of requires you being outside the atmosphere, I think. So we'll let the ablator do its job for a while. It's fine. The apoapse is coming down. Got a nice sort of flat. You can just watch the apoapse here. Be able to burn off hopefully a lot of speed up here at the higher altitudes because we got a lot of speed to burn off. You're coming in really fast, but we are also burning it off pretty well. Apoapse still 2 million miles out, so I don't know for sure that we won't come back out. We are at our current periapse. That may change, but I like this. I'm happy we're kind of spending a lot of time up here in the upper atmosphere. The ablator is it's doing work, that's for sure. Apoapse continues to drop. We are sort of holding in the upper atmosphere of Eve. But I do think we actually are going to come in for a landing. I don't think we're going to rise back out before the apoapse drops below the periapse, essentially. Or the apoapse reaches the point where we are now. Maybe. Who knows? Let's see. I don't know. 3,400. Again, continuing to burn off speed. Down to 3350. And approaching 3,300. Still coming slowly out of the atmosphere, but I think we're going to dip back in. I do think we're going to dip back in. I just don't think we're going to... We don't have the momentum, and nor do we want the momentum to get all the way back out. Well, maybe. We're up around 80,000 now. Apoapse dipping under 108, and no, we're sort of adjusted for a landing, it looks like now. Still bleeding off a little speed. Yeah, we are going to come back out. It seems like. Maybe. Actually, overall, I'm pretty happy about this entry. This entry profile. It feels, it feels like if we'd gone any deeper, I think we would have just wrecked our blader. Continuing to bleed off just the slightest bit of speed. We will time warp a bit. Still putting a little bit of pressure on the ablator. Not a lot. Still in the slightest bit of atmosphere, and as a result, continuing to slow slightly. Coming back up toward our apoapse of 99,000 feet. Hopefully we have enough ablator left to burn off the last of our speed without burning up. And 97, 98, 99, we have hit our maximum now and coming back slowly. Want to slow it back down as we re-enter the atmosphere, which appears to start around, let's see, where does it start? Going to come in the dark side of the planet, apparently. Must start at 90. Yeah, starts at 90, not 100. So 3150 we still have to burn off. We have 300 on our ablator left. So hopefully it's enough to get us slowed. Got to burn off about 2,000 still. Pretty though. I like it. Not a lot of features. Let's now do some science. I think if we're going to send some science back, now's our moment. Yeah, just transmit that. Log pressure data, transmit that. Close that back up. Log some temperature data, transmit that. And very slowly accelerating, but here we go. We quick save. There's no coming back from this. We're either blowing up or we're crashing, but this is it. Our final descent toward Eve on the dark side. And we are now doing work again. We're almost out of electric charge, where it's draining somewhat rapidly. That's going to be problematic if... no, it's recharging ever so slightly. 39 point... And down to 77. Ablator at 259. Going fast. Going faster than I'd like for sure. We're slowing down. Back in the thick of it. Come on. Come on. 227 is just dropping. Why is the ablator so bad on this thing? It's because it's so thick. I mean, the atmosphere is just... It's a soup, like I said. Coming under 3,000 soon. 70,000 meters above the planet. Orbit now under 3,000. Surface at 3,000. Under 170 on the ablator. 2,900. Orbital speed. Super fast. Come on. Under 2,700. Ablator down to 120. Approaching 2,500. Ablator under 100. Orbit dropping rapidly. Orbital speed dropping rapidly. Ablator just burning off. Oh, I don't feel good about it. Still 5,700 meters, 57,000 meters up. Orbit now under 2,000. Ablator approaching 50. Last little bit. We're burning off about 1 per second. Orbital speed continuing to slow. Almost down to 1,600. Ablator under 50. Reaching 40. Orbital speed under 1,500. It's going to be right to the wire. Orbital speed under 1,300. Ablator decay slowing. Still 43,000 meters. What's our surface? Give me exact surface info. 3,900 meters up. Ablator holding. Speed now under 1,000 meters per second. Heat effects waning. Oh, just enough. I think we have just enough. Yes, heat effects negligible and gone. No more ablator burn off. Sweet. I think we are coming in for a landing on the dark side of Eve. We are now well within atmospheric pressure limits. I don't know. What does that mean? What am I even talking about? I know we can deploy our chutes. That's the important thing. True altitude 23 kilometers above the surface. Don't have any lights, so this is probably pretty dark for you. Sorry about that. It's a numbers game now. And we will say we're not going that fast at this point, so I think I will speed up a bit and regroup when we're down to about 1,500. We'll deploy the chutes and burn off the last of our speed, hopefully. Get down on the ground, do some science, send it back, wait for daylight. Last of our electric chart. Looks like we coming through some cloud cover there. 10 kilometers and falling. Under 80 meters per second. It's just, we're in a black hole as far as I can tell. It's, yeah. I'm not going to mess with planet shine right now. I apologize. Trust me, there's stuff happening. It's, probably not all that interesting. The visual stuff. I mean, it's just a brand new planet, a brand new purple planet. 2 kilometers above. Deploy chutes now. Sounds like we got good chute deployment. No way to tell. It is pitch black. Here's our guy, just deep in the thick of the black. Quick save. Head on down. The chutes didn't activate. It doesn't look like. Did the chutes not activate? What the heck? Yeah, I would say SAS disengaged. No. Wait a minute. Why didn't the chutes do anything? Deploy chute. Deploy chute. All right, slowed us down that time. That was weird. They must not have deployed. Interesting. Okay, well, we are now floating ever so gently to the surface. I can just barely make out a surface over there. That last one doesn't count. I don't know what happened, what went wrong. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. I deployed the chute. It's not my fault. SAS disengaged. We're out of juice. That's okay. Once we come around, we should be able to get some sunlight on our solar panels there, and from there we will do some science, and send it. "100 meters. 50 meters. 15 meters. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Touchdown on Eve. A dark, dark day on Eve. As the Kerbins, I mean, in many ways. We will save that. Let's time warp till morning time. I don't know how long that takes here on Eve. Maybe it never happens. Oh, seems like it's getting a little brighter. And there's the horizon. We've got our electric charge back. And it's a beautiful purple day on Eve, I guess. Nice. Doesn't seem like it's going to get particularly bright down here. Come on, it can get brighter than that, can't it? It seems like maybe not. Yeah, thick cloud cover. All right, well, let's do our science and transmit. Science Junior. The crushing pressure of the atmosphere is causing some of the materials to crystallize rapidly. Yeah. Open this and do some mystery goo. You observe the goo. I did indeed observe the goo, and we transmitted that. We log the temperature, range between very cold and hot enough to boil water. We'll transmit that. Pressure is going to be interesting. The pressure is very dense at the surface. It crushes down on the instrumentations, and we'll transmit that. I think that's all we can do. Our probe here on Eve will just sit here, I guess, until the day that we have the technology to bring a Kerbal to recover it. But in the meantime, our flawless run at an Eve landing has gone perfectly. It could not have gone better. This was ideal. I'm very proud of the entire team, where absolutely nothing went wrong. For now, that's going to be it for this episode of Kerbal Space Program. My name is Sean Sands from GamersWithJobs.com. Thank you as always for joining me, and we will see you next time.